Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is John Graham. I'm Hannah's father. My right here is Sue, Hannah's mother and my wife. As this nightmare for Hannah, for us, Hannah's big brother James, her grandparents and for Hannah's extended family continues, we would like to make this statement. We have been utterly overwhelmed this week by the generosity of spirit of everybody we have met, and many more besides whom we've been unable to meet. We understand that over 1,000 volunteers have been out combing Charlottesville looking for our girl, yesterday and today. Similar number of wonderful people are out, today searching. Sue and I were out searching yesterday. So were some of our work colleagues, our friends, our neighbours from our home. Hannah's friends from softball, Hannah's friends from high school team, and many others. But the effort is much wider. Members of the Charlottesville community have turned out in force to help. Armies of Hannah's university friends have been helping. I read this morning that a gentleman came from as far away as Baltimore, Maryland to help. Thank you, sir. I read that Alexis Murphy's aunt Trina was helping. Thank you, ma'am. Sue and I are utterly overwhelmed by this support for Hannah, and we cannot begin to express our thanks. We thank you all from the bottom of our hearts. I think that the reason that Hannah has such marvellous support is that this is every parent's worst nightmare. I'm certain that everybody in this room and those watching knows that what happened to Hannah could happen to their child. We need to find out what happened to Hannah and make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else. You have all, I'm sure, read about Hannah. You'll have read that Hannah is a second-year student at the University of Virginia, a skier, a musician, softball player. She likes to help people, and she's interested in a career in helping others. And just as a little example, last spring break, instead of hanging around on the beach like other students may have done, she spent a week in Tuscaloosa rebuilding houses and helping the recovery from the devastating tornado. That's Hannah. That's one Hannah. But Hannah is also our little girl. She's our only daughter, and she's James's little sister. Hannah is also the oldest granddaughter, both of my own parents and Sue's parents. And she's actually my parents' only granddaughter. And she's enormously precious to us all. And while you think of what we're going through, think of our parents as well, Hannah's grandparents. They are literally an ocean away, and they're not knowing what happened to their little girl, their little granddaughter, and they're unable to help, and it's awful for them. Now, somebody knows what happened to Hannah. We don't know who that is, but somebody knows what happened to Hannah. And others may be watching, and they may know something about what happened to Hannah, and they may not even know that they know something about what happened to Hannah. What do we know? We know Hannah was downtown early Saturday morning. We know Hannah was distinctively dressed. Did you see Hannah? Did anybody see Hannah? Did you see Hannah? Did you see Hannah? Who saw Hannah? Somebody did. Please, 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 if you have anything, however insignificant you think it may be, call the Pleads tip line with anything that just might help us to bring Hannah home. Sue and I have received countless messages of support since this began, and I would like to read to you one email that we received this morning from one of Hannah's high school teachers. It reads as follows. I am sure you are continually being inundated with hundreds of people reaching out daily, but I just wanted to touch base again to express some of my hope and confidence. Throughout the week, as I spoke with Hannah's friends and teachers, and the countless other people whose lives have been bettered by Hannah's passion and positivity, one theme shone brightly through each conversation: hope. Not because that's what people feel like they should say at a time like this, but because of who Hannah is. Hannah is brilliant, resilient, determined, and loves life more than anyone else I know. Everyone agrees, if anyone could get through this, it is Hannah. I've been trying to frame my thoughts with the idea that every moment that passes, we are one moment closer to having Hannah back. Let's hope today is the day. The lovely message that we received this morning. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bringing out BB, Hannah's favorite white rabbit, he says, given to her when she was less than a week old. That little white rabbit, BB, has been Hannah Graham's constant guardian, constant companion, and guardian angel since then. Clearly emotional. You have a statement there from, again, that was her parents. Her father, John, did all of the speaking. Chief Longo told us from the beginning that he would only make a statement and he would not take questions. Susan Graham, Hannah's mother, as well as his wife, stood by his side. She became emotional, understandably, at one point. This nightmare for Hannah, it's a nightmare for Hannah, for us, her big brother, and her grandparents. He called out a few individuals by name and personally thanked them. And he says, I think that the reason that Hannah has such marvelous support, because this is every parent's worst nightmare. We need to make sure that what happened to Hannah does not happen to someone else. He went on to tell us how Hannah, a junior in college, was a softball player, and speaking to her character, instead of taking a week off for spring break, Hannah Graham spent that week in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, helping to rebuild homes that were devastated by a recent weather event there. Hannah Graham is the oldest granddaughter of both of those parents, and she is his parents' only granddaughter. Again, the emotions surrounding the search for Hannah Graham continues and is heightened now that we have heard from her father and having his wife, her mother, standing by his side. Leland Vittert, I'm not sure if you were able to hear those comments, but if you were, I'd like to talk to you now.
Most is talking about why so many people had come out to help Hannah. Her father said, everyone knows what happened to Hannah could happen to their child, and that is the feeling you get here on the streets of Charlottesville. There is a palpable fear here that this community has been rocked by something. And one interesting note, one of the people that he talked about in his statement and thanked specifically is the aunt of another girl who disappeared here a couple of years ago. There have been 5 disappearances in 5 years. This is a community that is shaken to its core. There's a feeling of safety here, a feeling of the true innocence of college in this beautiful town that has now been wrecked. And you did get a feeling from that family of just how shaken the rest of the community has been by the support they are getting. And obviously now this entire community is focused on Jesse Mathew, the man seen on surveillance tape in dreadlocks, who police say they believe is the last person to be with her before she disappeared, who is now on the lam. He is running from a Class 1 misdemeanor warrant. They said he headed out of town at a high rate of speed after coming to the police station and asking for a lawyer, and police have made no bones about the fact that they very much want to talk to him, and now they have the power to arrest him if they'd like to.
Glean perhaps to some sort of solution here, but they want to talk to Jesse Mathew, make no bones about that. Police Longo was very emphatic about that. And I want to bring it back to that press conference by her parents. And the father pointed out, he said, listen, we know the details. We know that Hannah was in downtown early Saturday morning. And he asked, did you see Hannah? Did you see Hannah? Did anybody see Hannah? If you did, please call the police tip hotline, he says, with any information, even if you think the information is insignificant.